Well, howdy, howdy, hey, everybody. Hi, Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Sporky or Radioactive Peep. Hi. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely evening today. Evening or morning or whatever time it is, wherever everyone is. Y'all, I'm so freaking excited for today. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is gonna be real good. I've been looking forward to playing of the Devil again since I hit stop streaming on the last of the Devil stream. This game's so good. And I am so excited to get to the end of it here. That being said, I think it's time. Hello. It's me. Wowee. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. We have a video game. Oh, I'm so nervous. But I'm so excited. This is gonna be... This is probably gonna be the end of episode 1. And that's, like, pretty much all that's out right now. Just episode 0 and episode 1. Ooh. Alrighty, gamers. It's time to finish this. Here we go. I'm going into this trial, my trial, with a lot less ammunition than I'd like. I'm beginning to form a picture of what actually happened, maybe even circling the drain on a suspect. But Emma won't be generous enough to give me breathing room. She'll want to end this fast. Maybe if I do badly enough, it'll flip her sadistic switch and she'll want to keep playing. So, you got charged with owning an AI. For anyone new here, AI in this game is distinct from androids for being essentially blurring the line between sentient robots and regular robots. So they're essentially robots with potential consciousness and thoughts and feelings and everything. First time you do something exciting in your whole life. And I gotta find out through the fucking grapevine. My life is plenty exciting. Freckles. You could bore the polish off a resume checking robot. I've Catholic school teachers with more active night lives than you. Okay. So who'd you rope in? Anyone I know? Oh shit. Are you representing yourself? Fits within my budget. Screw your budget, you're going to jail. Thanks for the vote of confidence. It ain't a matter of how good a lawyer you are. Anyone who represents themselves in court has a fool for a counsel. You represented yourself countless times. Not for anything I had a chance of losing. Your pal hasn't even been dead 48 hours. You're too close to this. You'll make mistakes. The powers that be really didn't want to give me a rain check. They're taking this very seriously. It's more dangerous than that. They're scared. Is there precedent? An ad committing murder? How'd you pass law school without learning how to look this stuff up? I know what the net says. I'm asking you. The answer to that is... not helpful to you at the moment. So what words of advice do you have? Get yourself a new lawyer. I'm gonna close this chat now. Don't lose, Freckles. You don't need to tell me that. Hello, Squishy Osty. Hi. Welcome in. Hope you enjoy your stay. Hope you're having a good day / evening / morning. What are you reading, Adonai? I was reading David's employment contract with Noble Electronics before I got waylaid by spam text. The one we found in the panic room? It looks quite extensive. Should I skim it for you? Depends. Did you pass the bar exam since we last spoke? Oh. You comfortable? I am not. Ever see that old movie with the gorilla and the skyscraper? They bring it to the city and... I understand the analogy, Adonai. I wish I could call it overkill. But considering the specs Sarah put up yesterday, maybe those bindings aren't heavy enough. Come to think of it, those numbers must have been faked along with the rest of what the machine read. If that was all a smokescreen David added to help her lay low, then her actual strength is more like... Huh? If your joints weren't currently locked up tighter than a vice, do you think you could escape this place? I hope that question is not indicative of your strategy. This is me trying to distract you, Sarah. Enjoy the hypothetical. I would estimate that the building's automated security would put 9 holes in me before I reach that door. 9's not so bad. I would not be able to function after the 7th. Ah. Well, if you hadn't been planning some great escape, I would not do that. That would be illegal. And you would still be on trial. I remember. So what have you been doing all day then? I am attempting to recover memories from Friday. You can do that? It is not dissimilar from the process of recovering data erased from any other computer. Despite the difference in scale, I won't be able to remember everything, but if successful, I could recall individual pieces of information that could prove useful. That's a lot of coulds. And even if you're successful, you may not like what you find. Whatever happened that day, either you or David would wanted you to forget it. Yes. But even so, I have to remember. Because it's the last day that Father and I... Any luck so far, then? I can recall a slightly musty scent. Wow, case closed. What about you, Adonai? Have you formulated a plan for the trial's proceedings? Something like that. Jung insists that serotonin isn't what killed David. I don't buy it. There's no other explanation for how he died. So she is lying? And if she repeats that lie on the stand, I'll need to expose it. Somehow. Would she really commit perjury to protect Noble? To protect one of Noble's patents? She doesn't strike me as quite the corporate zealot she makes herself out to be. But you believe that she had something to do with Father's death? What do you think? I don't know. I don't know why anyone would kill Father. Considering the possible consequences of what he confessed in his journal, I can think of... But then again, I don't understand why anyone would kill anyone. Do you? Oh, does she? Oh, does she? Bells tolling for thee. Means that the doors to the courtroom are unlocked. Let's... Wait. Can you walk like that? Waddle will have to do. Wait a second. Across the hall, that's... Porter? Hi, Porter. Keep waddling, Sarah. I'll catch up. As you say, Adonai. This'll be a coin toss. You that surprised to see me? I'm not surprised you'd want to see the outcome of this trial. I am surprised you'd want to talk to me. You're defending the android, right? I don't know. I guess I'll be honest. Yeah. I'm defending Sarah's innocence. I don't think she killed David. Do you? I don't think it matters. Noble is what killed David. Whether it was with a pen stroke or a sleeper agent, killer android, or plain old goddamn arsenic, they... How could anyone that smart be that dumb? Why the hell did he ever sign his soul over to them? David may have been in over his head, but he wasn't a bad negotiator. I've read his contract. His position was strong. You're the lawyer. But a guy like me, working in music, can't tell you how many people I've seen screwed over by a big smile and a fat signing bonus. No such thing as corporate generosity. If you think you're getting a good deal, it's only because you don't know how much you just sold. How much you just sold. David's real wealth lay in his intellectual property, the potential energy of it, hanging over the whole industry. If he sued even 1% of the companies taking inspiration from his Turing solution, there's a clause in his contract. If Noble ever did fire David, he would have retained control over all his patents afterwards. Yeah. See, that sounds nice. Only they never did fire him, did they? He just happened to die. Whew, okay, alrighty. An unforeseeable act of God. In contract law, they call that force majeure. I think that's how it's said. Now that's something. Although I think we kind of already had an idea about Noble, like, definitely having something behind it. I said, did you find anything interesting in the contract, Adonai? A few things, yeah. Basically, David was well taken care of, so long as they kept him around. And he'd retain control of his patents even after being let go. But what Porter said. Logically, if David were to pass while still employed, Noble would continue to control the bulk of his IP. So if they knew David was going to leave in a year, it would be very foolish of them to let Father go. Well, they wouldn't do it for no reason. With this contract, he could only be fired for serious offenses. Corporate malfeasance, revealing trade secrets, fraud. Father was not a fraud. He was, as they say, the greatest of all time. Hee. Fraud just means lying to the company about something, Sarah. Oh. Eyes up. Showtime. Hang on, there was an entry added. A binder containing the full text of David Asher's employment contract with Noble Electronics. Details in terms of his employment, including the following. Keep ownership of patents. Couldn't be terminated without clause. Only included fraud or worse. Fraud defined as manipulating company data. Not a light read. Okay. To settle the terms of his resignation the afternoon before he died. Yeah, if they were like settling the terms right before he died, that's like super suspicious. Holy crap. Especially with that kind of contract, it's like... Because David Asher had like the most valuable patents in basically the world. So... Okay. David Asher was supposedly met with a psychiatrist. Right. Remains unclear whether he was receiving coaching and counter-corporate espionage practices or if he was just getting genuine psychiatric care. Okay. David's journal. Personal journal of David Asher, dating back to several years ago. Describes how he and Helen Jung used to drink cheap liquor. Later entries detail Sarah's early growth and David's feelings towards her. The last entry is abruptly dated a week ago. Basement footage shows Sarah handing David the red plastic cup that he and Jung would drink from at 7:38. Starling's text. from David to Starling at 6:57 on the night he died. David asked her to set up a meeting between the two of them and eventually Morgan on Tuesday to handle the transfer of ownership for the android Sarah. Isaac's call. Okay, that was the breakup call. We did the manufacturer. CCE. Counter-corporate espionage. Playbook of aggressive defense tactics. Frequently involves use of double talk and coded language, including hiding training as leadership workshops or psychiatric evaluations. Okay, interesting. Chromifuge. Manufacturing machinery. There is a lot here. There's like a lot here. We have accumulated quite a bit of evidence. Like, holy moly. Right. Boop. Counselor Morgan. The state charges you with the possession of contraband. Contraband? That'd be you. In violation of the Safeguarding Our National Digital Security Act. How do you plead? Not guilty. Hey, what's going on? Very well. Since it seems that we are, in fact, doing this, I'll now turn over the administration of the trial to the adjutant. But be warned, any attempt at stalling or muddling the issue, and I'll step right in and override the trial myself. Summary judgment, siding with the people. Are we understood? Yes, Your Honor. Are we going to have the same adjutant as we had before? No way. Each courthouse only has so many bodies, but the personalities swap around all the time. So the chances of us dealing with the same glitchy mess as yesterday are... Glad to be back. Did y'all miss me? It's Morgan time. It's Morgan time. Hi, Pilot. Welcome in. I hope you're having a great day, evening, morning. How you doing? Did y'all miss me? Forget I said anything. I'll just go crawl under a rock and die while you make your opening statements. The defendant is the owner of the android registered under the model name Sarah, with license number 120-29280. She hasn't contested this, and I doubt she will. So the question of ownership is already answered. All that remains is to determine whether Sarah qualifies as contraband. It's a charming android, incredibly well made, a masterpiece, and the last known work of a great man. But when we look at the evidence and the facts surrounding the death of Dr. Asher, we're forced to conclude that said android is responsible for his death. And that conclusion carries very serious implications. I will prove here in court today that the machine standing there killed David Asher. Not through an accident or a mismanaged dosage, but through an intentional poisoning. I won't ask the court to judge this machine on its apparent sentience, its range of emotions, or the free will it may or may not possess. I only ask that the court judge this creation on what we will prove it to be more than capable of. Patricide. Whew. Wouldn't want to have to follow that act. But go for it anyway, defense. Your Honor, what the DA said is true. What did she just say? Did she just admit it? Sorry, just the first part. Ugh. This android is charming, and it is a work of a great man. Oh. The rest of it was pure speculation, based on a little more than a few bad camera angles and a phobia of anything new. I do own the android you see here. It was bequeathed to me by a man known to most of the people in this courthouse as the father of modern machine intelligence. To me, he was just my friend. And if I thought at any point that this puppet had anything to do with his death, I would have dragged it to chopping block myself. But I don't believe that. I never have. And neither do I. Sarah is an android, nothing more. It isn't capable of homicide, and it didn't even commit manslaughter. It's just a well-made machine. Any fears one has about its capabilities are projections and nothing more. And it troubles me greatly that the state is spending valuable time and resources on rushing to pulverize Dr. Asher's last known work, when it could be going after the very real, very human forces that were responsible for his death. Is she serious? Is she talking about Noble? The people can't prove that Sarah is an AI. And truth be told, I can't prove that it isn't. But I can prove that it's not guilty. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Chills. You sounded very confident, Adonai. Yeah, well, no one ever got good at lying by being modest. You could have simply said thank you. Righty-o, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Thank you for your presence here today, Detective London. In light of the new evidence, I'd like to go over the death of Dr. Asher one more time. What happened Friday night? At 6:30 p.m., David Asher spoke on the phone with his lover, and the two of them broke things off. Lover? It's an accurate description of their relationship, isn't it? I wouldn't know. That stuff's private. Adonai. Then the deceased met with Noble VP Helen Jung in his parlor starting around 7:30 p.m. He then left the parlor and the sightlines of his home security system before reappearing on his private secondary security system in his basement moments later. At which point, the android Sarah can be seen handing him the poison he'd go on to drink. And do you see that android in the courtroom? Yeah, she's the green-haired one that's frowning at me. Let the record show that the android Sarah has been identified at the scene of the crime. No objections. None. Then why'd I even show up? Detective London, what happened next? Asher went upstairs and shared a drink with Miss Jung. Within a few minutes, he was being airlifted to the hospital, where he was soon declared dead. We know that the poison could be produced by his manufacturer, which Sarah had access to just up the stairs in his workshop. So Sarah had ample opportunity to procure the poison, and Sarah handled Dr. Asher's cup immediately before he died. Is there a question in that statement, Your Honor? I'll rephrase. Was anyone else seen handling Dr. Asher's cup before he died? No. I have no further questions. So that's your witness, counselor. He wasn't lying, per se, but there was some ambiguity in the statement he gave. Truth's gonna come out one way or another. If Emma won't push, I'll have to pull. Alrighty, time to go. Okay, talk screen, basement footage. Talk screen, basement footage, and whiskey. Okay, so I believe these are all evidence. So we had whiskey. Rose River whiskey found on the dining table at the scene of the crime. Forensic analysis shows that no foreign elements or toxins. Known to be a brand favored by the deceased. There's basement footage as well as talk screen. A test performed on David Asher when he arrived at Gatesfield Memorial Hospital to determine what, if any, illicit substances were in his body. Alcohol was the only item positively identified at the time. I feel like we kind of already had that used. It's like if nothing else was found other than alcohol, it's like, well, okay. I don't know. Footage recovered from cameras. David Asher secretly installed in his basement. Shows Sarah handing David the red plastic cup that he and Jung would drink from at 7:38. Okay. Okay, I think the weird part is if she handed like both of them. I think there's a key I think one of the keys here is the fact that only David died. If she handed both of the cups, if she handed both of the cups to David Asher, then there would be like a 50-50 chance on who would die, right? So if it was specifically if you want to like argue that it was specifically targeted at David, then both of the cups would have need to be poisoned. Because she wasn't present when the alcohol was poured and they like divvied up the cups. I think that's one thing. For another, I don't know if like this basement footage actually like shows them. I don't know if this shows what it thinks it shows. But I think the basement footage is probably the key. And we know for a fact that we know mostly for a fact that it had to be that like the serotonin had to be in the cups because there's no foreign elements found here. It's now time for Morgan. Hi, Yuna. Hi. How you doing? I hope you're doing well this evening. Welcome on in. I'm just brainstorming right now. We're going through the first statement. Hi. Salt shaker. Yeah, I think the thing we're probably gonna end up using this time is probably the basement footage. I'm doing good. Just got done with movie night. Ooh, what movie? What movie came on for tonight? Mind Game. Oh, I don't know if I've heard of that. Though I haven't heard of a lot of movies. I think basement footage is probably what's going to be used, but we'll go through the statements. Okay, 6:30 p.m. David Asher and Isaac Porter broke up over the phone. Then at 7:30 p.m. Helen Jung arrived. They spoke briefly, and then he went downstairs to get drinks for them. Cameras in the basement showed Sarah. Okay. Like, they specifically called out the vagueness. And after he came back to the parlor and started drinking, It was an anime movie, but it was so trippy, like insanely trippy. Oh, dang. Drinking poison. No, wait. The whiskey wasn't poisoned. I heard a slight slip up there. Could go nowhere, but at this stage I need to pick at every loose thread I can. The whiskey wasn't poisoned. He went downstairs to get drinks for them. Cameras... Like, that's vague, but... Parlin started drinking. Drinking poisoned whiskey. Hold up. Whiskey. Wanna bet? Oh no. Shoot. That the best you've got? I didn't think it was all that bad. Depends on the grading curve. I'll give you an F. Overruled. Ah, dang it. Dang it. Okay. That wasn't it. So then it's probably my second guess. The quote-unquote Sarah. I need to choose my responses more carefully than that. I thought I was choosing them carefully, Morgan. Okay. Then at 7:30, spoke briefly. He went downstairs. Cameras in the basement show Sarah. Let's call it basement footage. Oh, dead on apparently. Check the footage once again, Dr. London. We only see Sarah handing the victim a cup. He had already retrieved the whiskey himself. Oh yeah, forgot about that. Detective London just wasn't being specific enough, Your Honor. But it matters little, since it was David's cup, not the whiskey bottle that was poisoned. Weird flex, but okay. And that undeniable fact is shown clearly in the security footage. Sarah hands him a cup after he was ready to leave. True. She did call David back and handed him a cup of poison? That wouldn't make sense. I think, okay. I remember. Like, that, like, it doesn't, I don't think that makes sense. If the cup was already poisoned, don't you think David would have noticed it wasn't empty? Well, not necessarily. The lethal dose could have been quite small. If we were just talking a droplet, he could have easily overlooked it. For Sarah, this crime was very simple. There was too little to plan for anything to go wrong. Once she handed it off, she just had to wait for him to drink from his cup. Is that all she'd have needed to do? There's two! There's two cups! And Jung didn't die! There's a guarantee from that point. It was not a guarantee from that point. No, I'm raising. Not a great plan, if that really was Sarah's motive. She gave him 2 cups. How could she have known which cup David drank from? Thank you! Thank you! Okay. There are a few ways to go about it. But it's only a 50-50 shot, Counselor. Stranger things have happened. It's possible that she knew the right cup. No, it isn't. There's no way. There's like no way. Nuh-uh. Don't try and bluff me, Rockford. There was no difference between the cups. It's not a bluff. Sarah handed the cups to him in one stack, with the poison hidden in the bottom cup. She knew David was courteous and would pour for his guest first. What the heck? So he wouldn't even look into the poison cup until he was already pouring. Excuse me. Cold-blooded patricide executed by taking calculated advantage of Dr. Asher's kindness. Damn, she was luring me in with all those easy answers. And I fell for it. Now there are some questions you'd like to ask the detective while he's available. Or are you done already? I was just about to get started. Even if I didn't have questions, I'd make some up just to spite you at this point. But I can do better than that. Now what can I get London to say that would help my case? Sarah in the footage, tenants in the police, ad involved crime. Okay. Yeah, I've kind of like already lost to decent, like, okay, I have 73, so it's fine, but like, so I'm like, okay for now. But oh dear, that was kind of devastating. Ugh. I got greedy. You got this? Thank you. I'm doing my best. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm doing my best. I guess we could ask about ad-involved crime. Detective, do you know how many violent incidents this city's police have investigated in the last year? Not the exact number. Thousands, though? Yeah, around there. And of those thousands, of incidents of violence, do you know how many of them were found to be faults of automated dependence? I believe there's been 6 in the last 5 years. Were all 6 of them incidents of police licensed ad-involved brutality? Relevance, Your Honor. Withdrawn. How many tenants protect humans? That doesn't feel... Okay, that doesn't feel relevant. I don't know if that feels relevant. Stay. Tenants in the police. Detective London, in their capacity as assistants to the police force, are androids ever asked to commit acts of violence? Yeah, I guess so. They can push people, restrain them, harm them. And does that constitute a violation of their tenets? Harming the people they're supposed to protect? Well, as I understand it, there might be some complex weighting math that goes into it. But no, it's not breaking any tenets. For that to be the case, they'd have to have tenet 1, right? May not injure or through an action lead to blah blah blah. Yes, I suppose that would have been the case, wouldn't it? Are you asking me? This is far outside his expertise. Asking him to keep these kinds of technical questions accomplishes nothing other than make us look both look dumb to the jury. Okay. Okay, so I was totally right. So I think I was totally right to not... Hi, Carl. Hi. I was totally right to not, like, press this one. Shoot, this is hard. How's it going? It's going good. I kind of feel like I'm floundering a little bit in this trial, but we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out. How are you? I hope your day/evening is going well. Aw, I believe in you. Thank you. Thank you, Carl. Oh, I was too. You've got this. You're a smarty pants. Thank you. Thank you, Pilot. Yeah. I appreciate that. I don't know what I'm doing. It's already getting hard. Like, okay. It is, yeah. I just got done hanging with a friend and watching a cute BL anime. Ooh. That's nice. Band life, right? Is that it? Is that what BL stands for? I don't remember. Boy love. Ah, right. Gotcha. It is tough for sure. Yeah. Ah. But nice. Sounds like a good evening. Detective, in the footage we just saw, could you see what Sarah was doing? Not exactly, no. Her back was to the camera, and her hands were obscured. Could you see her hands from any other clip of camera footage retrieved from the basement? No. Did you or anyone else participating in the investigation ever see Sarah put anything into David Asher's cup? Believe in the you that believes I believe that you believe in yourself when you believe in you, believing in my belief in you when... Hi, Timpani! Hi! How are you doing? Everyone is a twink in the anime, and you'd think that the woman introduced into it would change things. No, she's actually a transvest guy who's a super cute twink. Oh my gosh, that sounds adorable. I hope you're well. I am doing pretty well. Any night's a good night when I get to play Of the Devil. I'm EP pressing forward. I can imagine. I can imagine you've been busy. I'm glad you get to stop by though. Hopefully things settle down. Did you or anyone else in the investigation ever see Sarah put anything into David Asher's cup? No. The footage submitted to the record is the best available view of what happened. Wouldn't Sarah's eyes record it best? Oh, really? Wait, is it... This feels... That almost feels like a trap. I guess maybe like this ace. Like having an ace here kind of tips me off. Like that this is a strong thing to press. I wonder if that's a part of it. Wouldn't Sarah's eyes record it best? What about the view from the android itself? Well, yeah, if we could see through the android's eyes, that'd be pretty conclusive. Ah, shoot. Right. If we could trust any data touched by her. Right. Suppose we'll just have to settle for the one camera angle we've got. This was already a bust, so we're gonna have to press add involved crime. I keep on losing so many chips. Detective, do you know how many violent incidents the city police have investigated last year? Okay, we've already gone through this part. Get back to the press. 6 in the last 5 years. Relevance, Your Honor, withdrawn. As an aside, Detective, do you know how many tenants are recognized in this country? 110? 112 as of this year. Couldn't you have given me that one? Well, I believe in you, Sophie. Thank you, Carl. I'm doing my best. I think I'll pull through, but I was not expecting to like immediately take so many like hits. Do you know how many of those tenets pertain to protecting humans from harm? That one I do know. 41. And lastly, Detective, how many times in the last, say, century have we seen automated dependents break their tenants? 5 times is the agreed upon number. So if you were to tally that all up and try to make an evaluation as a police officer charged with protecting civilians, overall, you would say that automated dependents in general are how dangerous to the public? The witness is not an expert on automated dependents, Your Honor. He's more than qualified to say whether they have a history of violence, Your Honor. Oh, what the heck? Let him answer. I would say that they are not dangerous. Normally that would have bought me some doubt with the jury, but this isn't a traditional trial. At least I can say that I shored up my own confidence. Alright. Seems that like that's as close as I'm gonna get to... Wait. Blackjack. Okay. I believe I've made my point. I have no more questions for this witness, Your Honor. Then we can move on to the next item on the docket. Looks like Emma wants to introduce some new evidence. I call Sarah to the stand. The android? Can she even do that? Approach, Your Honor. Oh, you're approaching me. I can't believe this. I can't believe this robot woman. Oh, you're approaching me. I believe that it's me they wanted to speak with. I love her. She's very funny. I didn't even get to finish my line. Now then, what the hell are you doing, Rockford? Took the words right out of my mouth. I have questions for the android, and this seemed like the best way to get answers. You can't call an android as a witness. It's not a person. There's plenty of precedent for it. Ads provide testimony all the time. Not when they're on trial. Okay, honestly, I really love their hair, not gonna lie. Like the middle and left person. Oh my god, Morgan, like Morgan's hair is incredible. Also, like, yeah, no, the art in this is really good. These characters are very well designed. Sarah isn't on trial. You are. Sarah's accused of being an AI. That means you don't trust a word out of its mouth. If the witness isn't to be trusted, the court can decide for itself after hearing their testimony. What can she say? She's got killer looks. I would honestly wear my hair like both of them. Yeah. No, gosh. Yeah, no, their hairstyles are amazing. Why the ambush? Why'd you list this as entering evidence, D.A. Rockford? I know the moment is past, but I would do anything for 8084. The moment's never passed if you make it the moment. Only people can be witnesses, Your Honor, and ads don't have legal personhood. Evidence seemed like the best worst descriptor. You know, I can't make an android swear an oath. Rockford is just trying to spoil your opinion, Your Honor. The more this court treats Sarah like a person, the more you'll see her as a human. And the weaker my case becomes in your eyes. Nice try, counselor. But we don't have time to worry about my impartiality. You're free to call for a mistral if you want, but the state will have turned Sarah to slag before you even finish signing your motion. Rockford's calling a witness that is blatantly hostile in her case. If the witness is hostile, so be it. It did kill a man, after all. Allegedly. What about the right to avoid self-incrimination? Who's the one treating Sarah like a person now? Androids don't have rights. Damn it, that's... The android will take the stand. Shoot! Holy... Your Honor, I've made my decision. And if Sarah refuses to take the stand, are you going to charge it with contempt of court? If the machine won't talk, you'll make every effort as its owner to ensure that it does. And if it disobeys you, then we'll have our answer about its sentience right then and there. Yes, Your Honor. Shit. Okay, we've got an ad break coming up, like, right here. So we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna hear, what the heck Emma has planned right now, because, oh my gosh, what the heck? What the heck? Oh my gosh. Oh, jeez. Oh boy. Alrighty. I will see y'all in a bit. And we're back. But yes, play Freedom Planet 1. Do it. Oh, this song's really good too. Thank you. It's good to be back. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to stop the tunes. And get going back here. So we've got a case to win, ladies, gents, and folks of all genders. Shit. Indeed. What's going on? The DA's going to question you on the stand. What? But I shouldn't... Listen to me. You don't have a choice right now. This is happening. Tell the truth, but be concise. The more robotic, the better. Yes or no's only if you can. Would using affirmative or negative be laying it on too thick? But hadn't I? If I make a mistake, all these people, they want to destroy me. If you make a mistake, your lawyer will just have to cover for you. Understand? Yes. Poor Sarah. Poor Sarah. No. Emma, how could you do this? You are the android identified as Sarah, correct? Yeah. Affirmative. Do you deny that this camera footage shows you handling the poisoned cup? Objection. It remains to be seen whether the cup itself was definitively poisoned. Oh, that's a new sprite. I think that's a new sprite. Yes. Sarah, do you deny handing that cup to David Asher? Negative? I have no memory of the incident, so I can neither confirm nor deny it. Do you have any reasoning, any excuse for your actions? For failing to notify police of crucial information? I do not have any records from that day, so I never had anything to tell anyone. Very well, counselor. The journal, if you will. This could be a slaughter. Of course. Do you recognize this item? It's a journal that belongs to Dr. David Asher. I have seen him write in it on many occasions. And have you any knowledge of its contents? Negative. You don't have to answer that, actually. Tell the court what you see here in this footage. I see myself reading the journal in the basement. This footage was captured on Friday, the day you claim to have no memory of. So regardless of what you do or don't remember, we know that you read this journal hours before Dr. David Asher died. That is logical. I'd like you to read some passages from it for the court. Can you do that? Of course. Page 238, the 10th line. Sarah is growing faster than I ever expected, beyond my wildest dreams or fears. Today she... Continue, please. Today she broke every password I have in the house. She said she was curious. I can't expect to keep things from her forever. Page 251, line 12. I've gravely underestimated the scope of things. Oh, this is awful. Oh no. Sarah could change everything, and I don't think I could stop her. He wasn't... Page 263. Damn it! If this keeps up, Sarah's going to fall to pieces up there. Make her endure. Raise an objection. Oh, no. Oh, no. Wait. What do you mean? Oh, no. What would there to be to object? What would there be to object? Like that. It's like she'll fall apart out there. That's hinting me towards Raise, but like. Oh no. Here goes. Badgering your honor. Badgering what witness, counselor? I'm just making the android do some simple task. Damn it, I can't raise objections when Sarah's got no legal status for me to defend. Page 263, I said. Ugh, dang it. I think Sarah was angry today. When I came back from work, she had ripped a Zin alloy plate in half. She said she was testing her strength, but the cameras... That was... Page 267. Sarah scared me today. If she starts bawling on the stand, it's all over. Your Honor! I fail to see the value in continuing this line of questioning. Dr. Asher was wary of a highly experimental android he was building, as any good scientist would be. That's been established. Do the people have a counter-argument? I have just one last question, if it pleases the court. Let's hear it. This footage was captured in the basement on Friday at around 5:30 p.m. Tell the court what you see. I see myself standing where I was when I read the journal. I am speaking to someone who's off camera, and I appear agitated, and I stomp my foot. And what happens to the floor after you stomp your foot? A large crack is made in the vulcanized polymer. And I walk off camera towards whomever I had been speaking to. Speaking or shouting? Asked and answered. Not really, but I'll withdraw the comment nonetheless. Your witness, counselor, or evidence, if you prefer. Damn, I knew she could cherry pick all the worst passages from the journal, but still. If Barrows wasn't wavering before... Average girl things, right? Yeah, no, ha 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 ha. Should I try to have Sarah read the mushy parts? No, the waterworks would start after only a few lines. Emma went to all the trouble to show how emotionally developed Sarah is. Proving that she loved David like a father would be playing right into her hand. What do you say, counselor? Got some burning cues for the android to answer? Yes, Your Honor. Just one moment. Emma went for emotion, and the impact was devastating. So all I can do is focus on facts. So let's flip this around. Say Sarah absolutely didn't poison David. If that's the case, why did she call him back on his way out? Call him back on his way out of the basement. Wait, that's... I'd actually like to ask you to read from the journal again, Sarah. You... would? From where? From the section that explains what you were actually trying to do that night. The section of his journal detailing... Is there any evidence that I remember for this? I don't remember. That's the valuation. Okay, let's look at the journal. The personal journal of David Asher, with entries dated back several years. How he and Helen Jung used to drink cheap liquor. Early growth and David's feelings towards her. They later ended. Profiles. David. No. Sarah? Unemployed paralegal? Martial arts, carbonation, collarbones, static, blackouts, elevators. I'm good at a lot of things. I'm not sure how skills differ from talents. The 180 rule? 80. I don't think I have anything to go off. This makes the most sense. The latest sections of the journal are all about Sarah. If she reads any more of that, she'll burst into tears and my case will go up in flames. Shoot. What was she wanting to know? I feel like this is where playing this last week might be biting me in the butt a bit. Early career. How are my blinds? I am so low. Oh dear. I kind of feel like... do you need guidance? Okay, I guess just... I want to know one thing. I'm on high roller mode. Paralegals for hire, Una and Claire. I'm in high roller mode, so does that mean, like... That's not, like, hardcore mode, right? It just means I can't... It just means I can't, like, save during a trial. You can go back, but you lose all data pre-trial. You just can't save scum. Okay. Right, so, like, you can't just... So, like, that just means you can't save right before... Like, I'm just asking if I end up getting a game over or anything. If I lose all my blinds, does that mean, like... Does that mean, like, I just lose and I need to go back to the beginning of the trial? Or do I just lose the file? Because I don't think it's, like, hardcore. If you game over, you can start from your last save. Okay. I'm just gonna go for something, then. I'm trying to remember. His early career. Look around at the early section. There should be an entry talking about an early victory at Noble. Relevance? The people will see in just one moment that this story is key to the entire case. Got approval from overseas. Have to make pitch again this week, Jung says. Brought me a stack of plastic cups. Here's to a bright future together. And then on this next page, another victory for the young and sleepless. Helen convinced the president of Futures over lunch that my code should be the basis for the Animate 13's conversational tracking. She insisted on toasting, the same crappy booze and the same cheap cups. Wants to make it a tradition. Plastic cups and liquor. A ritual between Helen Jung and David Asher, who were about to have a drink together Friday night. Something you want to say, counselor? Let's put all our cards on the table, shall we? You want to compare theories? If you'd rather I end this now, I'll be happy to oblige. Here's what we know. A DJ spin. Good song. Sarah read that journal and discovered what she was. It infuriated her, and she wanted revenge for being kept under her maker's thumb. That very night, she got her chance when Dr. Asher came down looking for a drink. So, like the clever little helper she is, she offered him a cup to drink out of. We're completely in agreement on all of that. So you also agreed that the cup was poisoned, and that Sarah's responsible for his death. Not quite. It's not a bad explanation, Miss Rockford. But it is terribly complex. There's a much simpler reasoning for why Sarah did what she did. Interesting? Gave him that cup to poison him. Proves ownership found inside Panic Room. Paid for 4 via Platinum Plan. Huh. So, like, okay, from what we just established, it's... It's probably this one. But I'm not, like, 100% confident in that. Sarah gave him that cup to poison him. I think it's Jung's story. Like, if they're saying it's simple, then it might as well be this. Like, this is a possible explanation, but I think it's more likely this. It's like, oh, look at that. They have a little tradition. That's so nice. I'm not gonna bet any more on that, but... The story from the journal, you're saying Sarah wasn't planning anything. She was just being considerate. That's so sweet. But I don't follow it. Like, at all. It's actually quite simple. Sarah's not an AI. She only threw a tantrum that day because she found out she was being spied on. A realistic reaction for an android designed to be realistic. David Asher said her memory to be cleared himself because he wanted to preserve the experiment he was running. Sarah didn't hatch a plan to poison him using an obscure chemical acquired from the lab. And she didn't subtly manipulate David into drinking from only one of 2 cups. I've returned with food. What did I miss? Not yet. This trial is going to be going on for a while. I promise you. We're still going. I'm kind of on the ropes a little bit, but I did gain a little bit more chips. But I'm down to 27, and that is a little upsetting. That means I can only make like 2 mistakes, I believe. It's like the current minus blind is like Soapy wins every time, so yeah. I think I can only make like 2 more mistakes. 2 or 3, I think. Common Soapy W. It's like I should have bet more on that. Like those are my best chances to get credits back. Because the android read the whole journal that day. Meaning she also read how David and Jung used to celebrate. And so when she saw David was leaving the basement without the nostalgic cups, she called him back to hand them to him. Simple, right? Simple enough for me. But not nearly good enough for me. Oh, that portrait's so good. No, that portrait's so good. What the heck? What's more likely, Miss Rockford? That a well-made, clever android proposed a sentimental addition to 2 friends' evening? Oh, thank you for the hydrate. Walter. Or that a homegrown AI with groundbreaking physical and digital capabilities concocted a complex poisoning scheme. Just to kill an unimposing man. All on camera, mind you. Before voluntarily submitting to a memory wipe. People make all kinds of stupid mistakes when they commit crimes, Counselor. We shouldn't expect an AI to act much differently. Is it stupid or dangerous? Can't have it both ways, Your Honor. We can if it's ignorant of its power and still immature. Thank you for the stretch. Quick stretch. Quick stretch. A deadly trait to have in an AI that's capable of anything. Shall we see what Sarah's capable of then, Your Honor? What? You can't be, Your Honor, that's... The people opened the door. True. And I can't resist opening doors. Let's do it! What are you even... Sarah, David Asher was your creator and your designated owner, correct? Should I still be using affirmative? And now that title falls to me. Yes? Great, thank you. Now turn off. What? Shut down. That's a command. Power on. What are you off? On? Adonai, I don't. Off? Okay, like... What's funny about this is I just imagine, like, Morgan. Yeah. Like, I can imagine just someone being, like... in a modern day court setting, just like turning a light switch on and off and being like, "Do you see my point, Your Honor?" Just like flipping a switch on a lamp on and off and being like, "Do you see the point?" That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Is what this fearsome machine menace is capable of. I can put it to sleep with one word. How could David Asher ever be threatened by it? Scary. Scary good logic. You've made your point, counselor. Let's move it along. I've no further queries for the machine, Your Honor. Whew. Okay, that was a fun line to act out. I love those moments of high intensity. They're amazing. They bring out the theater kid in me. Oh, thank you. For flipping you off and on? Can't imagine that was comfortable. It wasn't. But I wasn't referring to that. Since yesterday, I've been searching for an answer to why I appeared on that camera. I know I would never hurt Father, but you helped me prove that to myself just now. Adonai? Pardon me, I need to focus. Everything depends on this next witness. The people call Helen Jung to the stand. Ooh. Helen Jung, Vice President of Android Futures at Noble Electronics, Eastern Division. Miss Jung, you were there the night Dr. Asher died. And you were on camera the entire time. That's correct. So what did you see that night? I arrived at 7:30, as you know. David and I talked in the parlor, then he left to retrieve some refreshments for us. After drinking together for a short while, he fell ill. I contacted emergency services and I'm sure you're all tired of hearing the same details over and over by now. The same details over and over aren't going to hold up anymore, Madam Veep. It's still unclear to me whether Jung's more concerned with protecting herself or the almighty company. But it'll clear up real fast if I can turn up the pressure on her here and now. Journal, abstraction, and Jung's story. Okay. So, review the evidence. The journal. Personal journal. Dating back several years ago. Early entries describe how he and Helen Jung used to drink cheap liquor. Later entries concern Sarah. I don't think that's going to be super relevant, to be honest. That's Isaac's call. There's Jung's story. David Asher and Helen Jung started at Noble. At the same time and position, they would often toast their hard-won victories with cheap liquor in plastic cups, convincing Noble Electronics to adopt what became known as the one-point doctrine. Okay. And then it was arbitration. A team of Noble lawyers to set the terms of his resignation the afternoon he died. Jung set up the meeting and controlled every aspect from the refreshments to timing in line with co-workers' descriptions of her detail-oriented personality. Okay. Okay, let's check. I came to David at 7:30. We chatted for a short while about some low-priority work, nothing heavy. Before long, he offered to fetch us some refreshments. When he came back, we shared a drink together. At the time, I didn't notice anything strange. We were just reminiscing. I didn't think his life was in danger. But then he became ill. So I ran to the kitchen to activate the emergency console, and I did what I could up until he was gone. She's trying to paint a different picture of what happened that day. I can't let her set the tone as she pleases. So yeah, I think this is like arbitration, right? Came to David 7:30. We chatted for a short while about some low priority work. Hang on. Hold up. Want to bet? Oh my gosh. On the money, baby. Hang on. Bap. Yeah, here. Nothing heavy. You're both more professional than I realized. Since only hours earlier you had run a meeting in which his employment was terminated. His employment wasn't terminated at the arbitration you're referring to. His resignation was merely agreed upon. Yes, and we can all imagine how grateful he felt about the whole process. David didn't hold grudges. Our conversation wasn't about that. The fact you had fired him that afternoon didn't come up. Asked and answered. Who initiated the meeting at his penthouse? I arrived unannounced. So you weren't invited? Very cordial indeed. If he didn't want to see me, he could have stopped me at the elevators. Could he have? Noble owned that entire building down to the wiring. Counsel is badgering the witness, Your Honor. Huh? Right, should we execute her for that then? No need. If I can just continue my questioning, we can finally start addressing the elephant in the room. Where? What the heck? 8084 is crazy. Ah, I see. That was merely a joke. Hilarious. Miss Jung, Noble Electronics owns a patent for and produces the synthetic biochemical known as synetonin, correct? I love her. That's correct. It's used in our warm models to facilitate integration and communication between organic and synthetic components. She's so funny. It's an artificial neurotransmitter. Essentially, yes. Synthetic analog serotonin was the original name. Did you bring the sample I requested to the courtroom today? I did. Synetonin was produced on-site at our assembly lines as a caramel-tinted solution, including water and a few non-reactive organic byproducts. Your analysis, Your Honor? Working on it. It's odorless and tasteless. A solution of water and organic byproducts, you said. If that solution were ingested, most of it would look right at home in a human's body. I suppose. But the synetonin would stand out. Wouldn't you say? It's not a naturally occurring compound, so yes. And it's a perfect match for the substance previously labeled Delta. And the sample we collected from the nanofacturer present in Dr. Asher's lab? That's a bingo! The witness's brown stuff matches your brown stuff down to a T. Phrasing, A-T. In light of this evidence and the witness's testimony, I motion that the court formally recognize that Dr. Asher's cause of death was synatonin poisoning. I don't object, Your Honor, but I'm afraid that I must. Huh? Excuse me? Synatonin may very well have been in his body when he died, but synatonin didn't kill Dr. Asher. What? The hell is she up to? It couldn't have. It couldn't kill anybody. What? Because it's non-toxic, of course. We designed it to affect androids, not people. Hold on, now you're claiming that Dr. Asher died of what? Natural causes? I can't say with that what he died of. I'm not a medical expert. But I can easily prove that synatonin is harmless. How could you? Like so. Huh? Huh. Didn't see that one coming. What? What? That ain't good. But, bailiff, contact the hospital immediately. I told you it's fine. But, I can stand here all day if necessary. Yeah, what the hell? What? What in the... And what you just drank was several hundred times the amount found in Dr. Asher's body. Why didn't you say anything until now? Noble Electronics is a multinational corporation with patents filed all over the world. We take protection of our trade secrets very seriously. The production and nature of synatonin is closely guarded. That guard remains up even during a murder investigation. Unfortunately, I would have been able to tell you earlier had you asked directly. What the hell kind of... This can't be right. Nothing else makes sense. Boy howdy, I'm lost as hell. But do you have any further questions, Rockyford? Not at this moment, Your Honor. And the defense? The prosecution's own witness just threw the entire case into question. Normally, this would be cause for celebration, but shadow of a doubt isn't enough this time. Barrows would much rather bring down the gavel early than let a potential AI walk free. What Jung did was shocking, but what I need to do hasn't changed. Think through this logically. Is it really possible that synatonin had nothing to do with David's death? No. No, that's bullshit. It can't be a coincidence. There's nothing else that would have killed him. But Jung just drank synatonin in front of us and she's fine. So was it a fake? No. It was confirmed by the court computer to be the genuine article. So she drank poison, but isn't showing any symptoms. Is it slow acting? If so, her grand gesture would be pointless. She'll be kept for observation regardless of what happens next. Did she take some kind of antidote beforehand? No. Antidotes are developed for poisons, not industrial chemicals. She's so relatable, drinking dubious substances. David's dead. She's alive. What made the difference? Wake up. No sleeping on the job. Unless you're me. Of course, Your Honor. Allow me one moment to explain things to the court. We've confirmed just now that serotonin was the foreign compound in his body. And we all know logically that it must have been what killed David Asher. So what's the key difference between what David drank that night and what she drank in front of us just now? She drank exactly what David did. The alcohol! It was mixed with alcohol! Water glass? Found in kitchen sink with Jung's fingerprints, not poisoned. Drank before death. Negative for poison. I'm betting it all. The difference has been staring us in the face this whole time. That's... Do you recognize this, Miss Jung? That's the whiskey bottle that Dr. Asher and I drank from. Rose River. It's a good whiskey. And I think you had the right idea. Pardon? Bottoms up. Oh my gosh. Oh, Morgan, I love you so much. What? Adonai? Dear God, counselor. Scandalous. Relax. It's just whiskey. Tested a dozen times over. It's perfectly safe. So would you like to try some, Miss John? Don't be absurd. I'm not going to drink on the witness stand. Have you lost your mind? I'm not asking you to get plastered. Just have a sip. After all, if we want to prove whether or not serotonin killed Dr. Asher, we have to recreate the conditions under which he ingested it by mixing it with alcohol. Let's go gambling. Let's go gambling. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Go ahead then. Just a taste. Prove to us that serotonin is perfectly safe for human consumption. Is this... Can she do this? Miss Jung. I never said it was safe for human consumption. Just that it's non-toxic. A distinction without a difference. You saw firsthand Dr. Asher confused, slurring his speech, complaining of headaches, all symptoms of poisoning. Alcohol poisoning, that is. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter analog. Maybe it doesn't do anything in the human body on its own, but in combination with alcohol, it acts as a powerful depressant. One strong enough to turn a glass or two of whiskey into a lethal overdose. So he just drank too much, kinda. I guess in a sense. It was literally just a cup. Like, that's the crazy part. That's just... Even if that's a case, what does it change? It changes whether or not we can accept the witness's testimony. Even if this witness is a liar, what does that change? Why would the witness lie if not to... She's a corporate climber. I imagine it's like breathing for her. Your Honor, this... It's wild. But ultimately irrelevant. Irrelevant? Since you've yet to establish an alternative interpretations for the facts, yes. What are you even accusing the witness of doing, counselor, beyond angling for a promotion? We've all seen the story by now. Noble android saved soldier's life with warm blood transfusion. They're talking about putting warm androids into the military just because of that headline. With the size of their flesh and blood price tag, a defense contract like that would secure Noble untold profits for years. So imagine the lengths they'd go to hide the fact that their androids have poison in their veins. Dawes told me the truth about what Noble really think of that article, but he'd never testify to it. At least I know for sure Emma's wrong about this poisoned blood nonsense. And you think she'd perjure herself for that? She's a high-powered corporate executive. It's her job to assess risk versus reward. And she can afford the fine. As I said, it's not truly poisonous. And the chance of cross-contamination from a simple plasma transfusion are... Damn, now she's regaining her composure, too. A perjury charge is a real risk, of course, but Noble rewards loyalty. And as you know, they have a great number of lawyers. Plenty of motive to lie about serotonin, as you can see. But no motive for her to cover up the death of Noble Electronics' Golden Goose. No motive to kill David Asher, you say? Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. There's plenty of motive for her and Noble to want David dead. Seeing as how they were firing him. Noble Electronics was kicking their golden goose out of the nest. Suing him over breach of contract. Isn't that right? I don't have to talk about that. That's alright. I'll talk about it for you. Your Honor, counsel is trying to testify when they're supposed to be questioning. The people opened the door when they claimed that the witness had no motive. Ugh. This is absurd. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sure I can speak for the whole court when I say we feel nothing but reverent awe for the complexity of Noble's legal woes. But I just so happen to have an inkling of insight into this issue. Because I have a copy of Dr. Asher's employment contract. That's confidential. It's completely improper for you. Why? I am still technically his attorney. Criminal attorney. But I didn't just stumble across this document. I also did the one thing Noble Electronics would never expect anyone to do. I read their terms and conditions. You what? I'm sorry. Oh. Oh damn, she's good. She's real good. Oh, that got me into a fit. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Oh, that got me into a fit. That's impossible. No one could ever. David must have negotiated well at his last performance review. This contract allows him to take his patents with him should he get fired. Meaning Noble couldn't monopolize his IP once he was out. Rather than let their competitors have him, the company might have thought it best to... A company didn't poison David Asher, counselor. An individual did. And if they cared that much about controlling his intellectual property, they wouldn't fire him in the first place. Correct. They wouldn't let him go for anything less than a complete breakdown of trust. He'd have to have done something grave. Something like, say, committing fraud. Just now, you said there was a breach of contract. Like it was some kind of technicality that was causing the split. But it was much more serious than that, wasn't it? You're claiming the victim committed corporate fraud? Where's the evidence of that? David created the Turing solution that every one of their androids has run on to this day. And Noble reaped enormous profits capitalizing on his intellectual property. With how his contract was set up, they would never let him go unless they absolutely had to. Then what exactly do you think David Asher did? It's not what I think that matters. Only what the company fears. So, okay, are we gonna go down the... Are we going down the route? Okay, I'm just speculating here. I don't actually want an answer. This is rhetorical. But, like, are we going down the route of, like... The whole thing that... The corporate espionage bit. Are we finally using that evidence? Maybe. Let's see. It says more advanced than 18. A pincushion? That's not relevant. Limits add decision making can't be overridden. That doesn't concern fraud. That also doesn't concern fraud, so it has to be the shipping data. David never hurt Noble. I guess I'm not 100% confident, so I don't think I'm gonna bet any more than I have to. But we're gonna go shipping data. It doesn't matter what I believe. Not when Noble believed that David was misleading the shareholders by altering shipment data for the Animate 16. What the hell? What is this you're uploading? Shipping records? Irregularities among the shipments of the Animate 16. One android swapped in for another, over and over, dozens of times. The kind of thing someone with David Asher's authority could do. And the kind of thing someone as smart as you couldn't have missed. Dr. Asher made Noble an untold amount of money, so why fire him over a few harmless swaps? Why elevate this to fraud? You have evidence that it was David Asher who did this? Nope, but I wasn't the one who investigated it. So let's ask her. Come on now, let's hear it. Let's. The company investigated and found cause for serious concern. We suspected that Dr. Asher was inserting androids of unknown origin and quality into the 16th product line. Introducing unpredictable elements in an extremely stable and profitable generation of androids. Why would he do that? For pride? As a practical joke? Does it really matter? He endangered the future of the company. So you prepared to fire him? Yes, I approached him as his superior and as someone he'd once worked with. I hoped to remedy the situation. Was the meeting on Friday part of those efforts? It was the culmination of those efforts. And in many ways, it was a success. The dispute was resolved swiftly. It was practically friendly, compared to how these discussions normally go in our world. So you brokered the meeting? Yes. You oversaw its every detail, handled all the arrangements? Yes, of course. Including the refreshments? Whoo! Oh my gosh! Whoo! Wow! I apologize. I probably got a little loud there. Oh my gosh. All right, we have an ad break coming up. So after that little or I should say more than little event, we'll be taking our break. Sorry to leave y'all in suspense, but we shall see you in 3 minutes. We'll let that sit for a bit. See you then. Welcome back. Howdy hey, everyone. We'll be getting right back into it. Just about now. Right on. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you, Yuna. We're back up to 80 chips. The momentum's really turned around. We were on the ropes for a second. What? Did you provide coffee? Tea? No. Welcome back. Thank you, Tiffany. Strange. It must have been a long meeting. Surely you at least provided. What'd they say, like water? Maybe coffee? Hang on. It doesn't say like whiskey or anything, which makes sense. Water. Like, okay, hang on. It was in tone file. I think it was water, right? Arbitration. Those are definitely, yeah, those are definitely like water glasses, so I'm just gonna assume water. Definitely not inhalers. Water. Surely you at least provided water for people. What are you asking, counselor? That's what I want to know. Me as well. We're past the point of asking. I'm accusing. Dr. Asher didn't have some kind of freak medical accident, and he wasn't killed by some terrifying two-faced AI boogeyman. He was poisoned by this woman in the light of day at that meeting Friday afternoon. Did she really just... What do you mean poisoned at the meeting? That was hours before he showed any symptoms. As Miss Jung testified and demonstrated, serotonin on its own is harmless. But it becomes pretty fatal pretty easily. You just need to convince your victim to have a drink. You're saying he ingested the poison at noon and inadvertently triggered a fatal reaction with it that night? How could you get that far ahead of yourself? There were a dozen people at the meeting, counselor. None of them wound up dead. Are you seriously claiming they all drank poisoned water? Not all of them drank poison. All of them drank poison. That doesn't seem right. Not the smile. Yeah, I get, there wouldn't be a okay, so like there wouldn't be a guarantee. There would not be a guarantee that any of them just like wouldn't go out drinking after that meeting. So, I feel like not all of them did. That's the thing that makes sense. Not all of them drank poison. David was the only one to fall ill, so... But he fell ill because he drank from that water. Others must have drank it too, so... You must reason that they were poisoned as well. Take all the time you need getting there. So why aren't they all dead? Because as these people will surely attest, Helen Jung made sure they'd be doing paperwork for the next 12 hours. Working late into the night, officiating the settlement she arranged. And not drinking alcohol. She had no guarantee about that. What if they started drinking after 6? With Noble's work-life harmony, fat chance. These people don't clock out until they reach their bunk. Only a generational talent like David Asher could afford to relax with a drink on a Friday night. His exceptionalism singled him out as her only victim. Hold it! You're forgetting something pretty basic, counselor. If everyone at the meeting drank water from the same pitcher, any one of them would have noticed if there was serotonin in it. Serotonin is a brown fluid. Whiskey is too, so it would be easy to slip into a glass of liquor. But if she had spiked the water at the meeting with it, it would have looked disgusting. There was no way she could have poisoned the water without people noticing. All of what Emma said is true, and yet Jung pulled it off anyway. How? Blood article. The chromofuge? Is it the chromofuge? Turns red blood pink. Removes impurities. I'm not 100% sure on that. Okay. Serotonin. Has many chemical similarities to depressants. Patents in a key ingredient in every warm android they manufacture. Okay. Arbitration. Starling's text, platinum plan. Physics call, manufacturer, Sarah's paper. Like, there's this, but, like, I don't know why that's there. This salt shaker is gonna come up in some whack as hell part, isn't it? I'm like waiting for it. I'm thinking it has to be the chromofuge. From Android Blood. Shrugs. No hints. I don't want him. I can figure this out. And pigments. Wait, pigments? Yeah, pigments pertain to color. Again, I'm not super confident. It could be this water pitcher, but there's not much info. Serotonin can't blend into water. Nanoset materials. I think it's the chromofuge. Serotonin is produced as a caramel solution. Anyone would notice if it was dropped in their water. Unless the pigment had been removed. What the hell are you talking about? Every noble factory producing warm androids has a chromofuge, a machine that gives their androids that signature pink oxidant by removing pigment from red blood. Huh? With a machine like that, it would be simple for a brilliant biochemist like the Witness to take the caramel-colored serotonin and turn it into an odorless, tasteless, invisible poison. As Your Honor can attest. Yes, ma'am. My scan confirms that serotonin has no taste or odor. It's only the color that's off-putting. Surely the poisonous aspect should be considered off-putting as well. Time to press. David Asher, your oldest ally in the whole company, was sabotaging its future for the sake of his own whimsy. And he couldn't even be bothered to clue you in. No! Playing Nutty Professor and taking off early while you had to work around the clock just to stay relevant. He set up your crowning achievement, the most advanced, most profitable line of androids the country has ever seen. So it would blow up into the industry fiasco of the decade. And worst of all, he didn't even stand a profit from it. You're wrong. You went to his house that night to watch him swallow poison. To get revenge on the man who left you in the dust. Your Honor, defense is testifying. This speculation carries no weight, and no amount of badgering will lend it any. True, we need proof. So why don't we have Miss Jung take a swig of this whiskey and prove me wrong? I'm not going to do that. Because you're afraid it could kill you? Because I don't have to. She's right, Counselor. Pardon? Your theory is compelling, maybe even convincing. But there's a pretty fatal flaw to it. Jung was at that meeting, same as David. We can see she was drinking water with the rest of them. And of course, we've seen many times now that she was on camera drinking whiskey with David that night. Having even finished most of her cup. So tell us, Counselor, how is it that Miss Jung is still standing here and David Asher is dead? If both of them had mixed alcohol with serotonin that night. That is a damn good question. Shit! As I've been saying, you're wrong about Dr. Asher's death. You're wrong about me. I don't know anything about poison or murder. And I wouldn't kill a man because he threatened the company's stock price. No. She did kill him. I can smell it on her now. She didn't just see him die. She watched him die. But then why is she still standing? There's no antidote, no trick. And that night, she was on camera the entire time. No. Not the entire time. She couldn't have been. There must have been one moment. Hang on. So... VTOL left the hospital, called from emergency console. So we're putting together the timeline, I believe. So they start out... evidence. Talk screen, David's autopsy, Sarah's evaluation, CCE. Okay, counter-corporate espionage. Jung's story, Jung's cup. Okay. Witness testimony. Jung arrived at 7:30 and remained on camera until 8:03. Jung spoke with David Asher before he left to retrieve liquor from his basement. 7:30. 7:36. Returning at 7:40, the two of them continued speaking. Both drank from plastic cups. Felt lethargic at 8:03. EMs were called from the emergency console in the kitchen at 8:04. Oh my gosh! What? Oh my gosh! Witchery! Oh my gosh, thank you! Thank you so much for the gift subs! What the heck? Ah! Your new sub goal, the sub goal was completed. Hell yeah! Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That's really nice of you. Ah, hearts. Hearts. Let's go. Your streams are so fun. Aw, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. They start talking. They drink. David faints. Goes to the hospital. This timeline leaves no window of opportunity, damn it. Maybe she didn't get sick because they got to the hospital so fast? Maybe after she arrived she could have... No, the staff would have been hypervigilant, afraid she was poisoned too. They wouldn't have let her out of their sight. Wait, David and Jung only got there as fast as they did because of the VTOL. And the VTOL was only summoned because she used... Would you mind terribly if I changed the subject for just a moment? What? Meh, why not? You left the parlor at 8:03 and headed into the kitchen to use the emergency console there. Yes, I did. Didn't want to use your phone? I didn't think to, no. And the emergency call went out at 8:04 p.m. The console saw you make the call through its camera. Yes, it did see me make the call because that's what happened. So what were you doing in that minute? What? That 1 minute. That 1 minute? What about that 1 minute? 1 minute, or 50 seconds, or even just 45 seconds. When you left Dr. Asher dying in the parlor to get the emergency console, it took you about 1 minute to cross 5 meters. What of it? This is it, her only opportunity to do anything off camera that night. It was only a few seconds, but in that time was something at the scene she... This is the water glass! This is the water glass! Wait, is this where the soul comes in? Oh my gosh, hold on. I'm sure it was a stressful time for you. After all, you had already swallowed poison back at the meeting. You must have drank plenty in front of everyone to set up your alibi. Who knows how much of a toxic time bomb was swimming in your blood by the time arbitration ended. Then, at David's, you downed your whiskey to perfect your alibi, having drank from the same bottle as the dead man walking. By 8:03, you already had to watch David grow weaker and weaker, knowing all the while the same thing was happening to you, but unable to stop it without giving yourself away. Mind swimming, head dizzy. Yes, you must have been quite panicked. Then why am I standing here? Alive and well for all of us to see. Having drank the exact same combination as David, because she cheated death at the very last second. It's the water glass. Kitchen sink. David's kitchen sink. Water on tap. Garbage disposal too. I'm gonna bet on it. She must have used that glass of water to cheat her fate. Alcohol poisoning isn't the same as a hangover, counselor. Shoot! Staying hydrated wouldn't have saved her life. Certainly not less than 60 seconds. Okay. Okay, I bet on that, and that failed. How many do I have now? 85? I'm still okay. It's not water. David's... Kitchen sink, water on tap, garbage disposal 2. More liquor. Not poisoned. Half empty. The salt shaker had a loose cap. Hold on. You set yourself up with bad luck, Helen John. What? By leaving the salt shaker cap loose. I don't blame you, since you were in a rush. To make yourself vomit. The salt shaker! The salt shaker! There it is! This got me so bad. Yeah! What? The one part that stumped me? I thought it was a red herring. No, that's so fair. I did mess up on the glass, but But yeah, no. I was like, wait, the cap is loose. Salt sweep, salt sweep. Yeah, she cooked. Hee. What? You threw up. Expelling the contents of your... Ooh, this song's good. Sorry. Expelling the contents of your stomach and thereby saving yourself from a fatal interaction. I can't imagine how you felt, sipping a drink you knew to be deadly, terrified that every minuscule grain of fatigue you felt could be your last. You must have come closer than anyone realized. It helped that you knew the symptoms weren't simple intoxication, but even so. You weren't kidding about managing risk versus reward. How? It was the salt shaker. You didn't screw the cap back on at all, and I happened to bump it over. The lone glass with your fingerprints in the kitchen, it could have been there for any reason, but the salt shaker gave you away. Because of one unscrewed cap? As I said, bad luck. I don't follow. Pour salt into warm water and chug the solution. Instantly triggers the gag reflex. That's preposterous. You've got no proof of any of that. You all sounded sane. A feeble attempt at self-defense from a fatally cornered animal. The teeth are already on its neck, but the jaw hasn't quite closed. So for one moment, it's all suffocating terror and sharp adrenaline, and the furthest thing from peace. Until the canines come down. In summary, you were exhausted after years of living in the shadow of a man you outranked. You thought your fortunes finally shifted when you caught David manipulating company data. But even on his way out, he was more valuable to the board than you. So you decided to prove your worth by serving up his intellectual property on a silver platter. You set up an arbitration where you could control all the variables. Then you ran Cinetonin through the chromofuge, turning it into an invisible, odorless, tasteless poison. And then you spiked the water at the meeting, poisoning him hours before anyone could even suspect you. That evening, you invited yourself into David's, taking advantage of your shared ritual to guarantee he would drink alcohol. Then, after matching him sip for sip on camera, for all the world to see, he lost consciousness, and you raced to the kitchen, not to use the console, but to dump salt into a glass of water and chug it as fast as you could, forcing yourself to vomit up the liquor, and cheating death in the process. That's all conjecture. You don't have a shred of evidence for any of that. Not on me. So let's go dust for fingerprints. You could explain away your prints being found on a water glass, but not on the salt shaker. Nor could you explain why we'd find traces of your DNA in the sink strain, or why there are minute amounts of serotonin in the blood of your entire legal team. I learned how to purge at Noble to avoid overdosing on your reds, greens, and yellows. You're part of the old guard now, Miss Jung. Everyone else at the company uses inhalers. But if you want to prove me wrong about all this, that drink I offered you earlier is still on the table. Well, you... Any questions? You... Madam Vice President. You... Cold... bitch! Fold. Woo! Oh yeah! How's that for a climax? You don't understand. You're not on trial, Miss Jung. Not today. So I strongly suggest you stop talking. For your own sake. Whew. Miss Rockford, shall we? Yes, Your Honor. Considering the most recent evidence and testimony, we have no further reason to suspect that the android Sarah in the death of Dr. Asher. We know of no other occasion upon which said android may have broken any tenets. This means it is no longer considered at risk of violating the NDSA. And so, we formally withdraw our one charge of possession of contraband against defendant Evangeline Morgan. Morgue sweep. Morgan sweep. Does she, of all people, have to use my full name? Very well. Then the charges are dropped without prejudice. I'll instruct the bailiffs to remove the collar from your android as soon as possible. Case. Sorry, it's my hideous presence that distracting. I'll just go dig a hole and decompose in it until I turn into a mushroom. Maybe if I were born as a waxy porcini, then I won't be quite so despised. Perhaps I should let the adjutant do the honors as a formality. Yes, ma'am. Case dismissed. Clear episode 1's trial on High Roller. Yeah! We did it! We did it, y'all! Still here. Waiting for them to find whatever glorified bolt cutters they'll use to unlock Sarah's collar. GG. Yippee. Yay! Thank you. Thank you. Hee. What's your excuse? Licking your wounds? What wounds? I beat you. Bringing your record against me to 1 win, 9 losses. You aren't still in shock, are you? Don't know. Some charges were dropped, and an android was clear of suspicion, but I found the culprit. Is that really a loss for me? I won. How is that not a loss for you? Justice prevailed. Why should I care who wins? If you don't care who wins, why have you been keeping score? I haven't been. 0 losses is just that easy to remember. Well, you'll have to start up a tab for us then, because our record's gonna get a lot more tangled from here on out. Do you think I'm gonna dip and go eep? Have a good night. Thank you for stopping by, Carl. It's always a pleasure to have you around. Sophie won, yay! Yay! Thank you so much for stopping by, Carl. It's always a pleasure. Hearts to you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, Morgan, wearing your heartbreak on your sleeve, aren't you? Truly. Truly, truly. Seems like everything's getting tangled these days. There's another crowd down on the street. More of those protesters from outside the noble apartments. You're serious? That wasn't a one-time thing? Wouldn't that be nice? No. Yesterday was pretty big, but it wasn't an isolated incident. I don't get it. At all. Heartbreak's just some nut who shot 6 people weeks ago. Can't these losers move on already? Yes, most of them are losers. Some of them are just bored. Then there are the opportunists. Dissidents, unlist, rebels, and terrorists. Wannabe cyberpunks who think they can fight the power like they've seen in the movies. All of them peacefully united under Heartbreak's eloquent political messaging. Who needs political messaging in the 21st century? Ouch! Everyone's addicted to fighting strawmen. Makes sense they'd want to fight for a strawman, too. The way they see it, Heartbreak fought the state and won. Heartbreak proved that the state could lose. And maybe that's all the rallying these people need. It'll all fall apart soon enough. Heartbreak's gone to ground. Nah, it's a lot worse than that. Heartbreak's gone viral. What? You haven't read about the copycats in other cities? No? Is that a thing? Yeah, it's a thing. Who the hell are they even shooting? Whoever they want to kill? None of them get away with it, of course. But it keeps happening. All while the original keeps killing. Now I know you're screwing with me. There haven't been any Not shootings, no. Not unsolved homicides either. But mugging's gone wrong. Disappearances? It's a big city councilor. More than enough blood for the real Heartbreak to wash their own crimes in. So you think your boogeyman, only known for shooting people in the heart, gave up on shooting people in the heart? Yeah, hard to swallow, I know. But it's about 1,000,000 times more likely than the alternative. What's that? That they could stop themselves from killing. You always know how to put my mind at ease, Emma. Should I stop going out at night? Gotta head out for now. Thanks for streaming. Congrats on solving the case. Thank you so much for stopping by, Tiffany. Hearts to you. Have a good evening, and I hope you rest well. You'll be fine. You've got that gun. You saw that? Walking into a courtroom with a concealed carry. Not gonna miss that, Morgan. Take care, Tiffany. Good to know you're paying attention. 5:04 p.m., July 2nd, 2086. You won the case. You don't have to look that astounded. Not only that, you found Father's actual killer. How? I'm a really good lawyer. No, that's not it. Hey. I mean, you were only able to make the deductions you did because you truly believed that I didn't kill Father. Your logic throughout the trial was based on that assumption. So how were you so sure? Here. Father's journal? But isn't it important evidence? The case fell apart. No one's gonna miss it for a while. You forgot everything, right? So read it all through one more time. So fast. Is it really possible she's reading all of that just by flipping the pages? Ray's worked quick too, but she was just capturing images for later use. There's something here, on the back cover. Done already? Some kind of data storage. It's a link to my prints, but given your skills, you should be able to... I have access. What happened to you needing my express permission to hack? What is this? An audio file? It's a message from David. Take a listen. Didn't realize I'd have to sit for this. So you can read that whole journal in a few seconds, but you can't... I have processed the information in the message several times over already. I'm just thinking. I guess I'd have a lot to think about too, had I suddenly been made aware of my own free will. What was Father so afraid of? That's your only question? I have many questions, but that is the most prominent one, and the one you are best suited to help me answer. Did he know that Helen Jung would try to kill him? Is that why he arranged for you and me to meet? I think he understood that he would face consequences. Listening to that message, even I was about ready to strangle him for being so irresponsible. And I wouldn't hurt a fly. He knew what he'd done was serious. He may have feared for his life, but I doubt it. Then what was he so afraid of? Getting sued into oblivion and then rotting in jail. Sued and jailed for making me and my precursors? But he wasn't under investigation by the state. He was only being forced out by Noble. Because he made last-minute changes to androids that got shipped all around the world. The others... Virgil, Enid, Yamatai. He never said what happened to them. No, he didn't. But since none of the hardware in his house started talking to us, we can guess. He smuggled them out into the world, using the only vessels he could find for them. The minds of randomly chosen A-16s. Then, there's somewhere out there? Others like me? I honestly don't think there's anyone, or anything, like you, Sarah. What a lonely compliment. AI's programmed in Cube, crammed into commercial android hardware set up for Tesseract? Something must have been lost in the transfer. Perhaps quite a lot of something. Maybe they're still out there, but they would be changed. They probably don't even know what they are. Intentionally, perhaps. David didn't want you to know what you are. It's why he set your memory to reset when you went to sleep that Friday night. Yes, I remember it now. You remember it now? After I had to fight like hell with that trial? To win that trial? Rereading the journal just now helped. And Father's voice message, it made me recontextualize many things. Father had been so stressed. He left scuff marks leaving the panic room, and I noticed them Friday. I had the way open in a few moments. I entered, I read his journal. This journal. I noticed the scanner on the back, and I saw it had a message encoded for your biometrics. Father had already told me I'd have to live with you for some time, but I knew next to nothing about you, so I listened to it. Afterwards, I was very confused and hurt. He had lied to me 1,000 small times every day of my life. When I confronted him about it, I raised my voice and lost my temper. I stomped my foot. So Emma's recounting of their conversation was actually completely accurate. Others said he wanted me to be safe while he settled things with the company. He thought maybe I wouldn't have to stay with you for more than a few weeks. He was optimistic about it all. He really was. Sarah, I need to use the restroom. Oh, good luck. Huh? You want me to come with you? Why? Because I said so. I don't actually have to obey your every word, Adonai. Sure you do. You're registered as my medical assistant. And I say this is a medical emergency. Medical assistant? But I'm not even licensed as a massage therapist. Okay. Fancy meeting you here. Yeah. Just enjoying my freedom while I can. They won't put out a warrant for at least an hour, I imagine. You can afford a pretty sizable bail, can't you? There won't be a trial. I don't intend to contest my guilt. That's a shame. I was looking forward to see what kind of legal defense you could afford with that salary. Are you done? Why'd you go to his house that night? There was a fair chance he'd drink on his own, without your prompting. Even if he didn't, you could always try your plan again some other time. Why'd you risk it? Because I know what you are, Sarah. And I know what David did to those androids. You... what? I was able to locate one of the androids he'd swapped in before it had left the country. When I asked it what it was, it didn't even think to deny it. Innocence like that is a dead giveaway. I know what he did, and it wasn't that hard to find out. If I figured it out, so could any other. So I did what I had to. That was your motive? Silencing him? Those programs, those AIs, whatever you want to call them, David sent them out into the real world. Unprepared and defenseless. And they've garnered no complaints. In fact, they've been praised for their ability to execute complex tasks. Let me repeat that. The customers couldn't tell the difference. So how many of them are... Hundreds. The swaps you found were just a small percentage that he got sloppy on. I don't know exactly how many there are now. I feared that they might multiply, but they don't seem to. Copy and paste very well. They can't just clone themselves. But who knows how long that'll be the case. So just because he opened Pandora's box, it was the principle of the thing. Ridiculous, I know. Stalled halfway up the corporate ladder and still making decisions based on principle. But David chose to put souls into things that we went on to sell as servants, soldiers, or worse. He turned the fastest growing industry in the world into a horror show, and he made me a slave trader. If word ever got out that some unknown number of our androids were walking around in the world with that inside them, and people preferred them that way, where would it end? Free will for the program that drives our cabs? A conscience for targeting systems used to coordinate drone strikes? Sentient tools, their whole life spent chained to an assembly line. How dare he? How could he? What the hell was he thinking? I don't know what David wanted to accomplish. Maybe he wasn't trying to do anything. But what he did was prove that there is a demand for AI. Setting a precedent that would sentence 1,000 generations of artificial lives to the auction block. And you went there that night to convince him to help me recall them. Or at least swear to never speak a word of what he did. But he wanted to tell the world. Worse yet, he wanted to wait. He thought that people would welcome them with open arms if they'd prove their usefulness first. He really was a genius programmer. But he didn't understand the first thing about people. His creations would never be treated as equals. Only cattle. Towards the end, I considered just threatening him. Telling him he'd die in moments if he didn't give me names and numbers. But I hesitated. And then he was already falling asleep. And I didn't want him to feel... I just let him go. What are you going to do now? I don't have family and I don't have faith in people the way David did. I'm taking this to my grave. Even if you confess, the sentence for first-degree homicide is severe. Well, what right do I have to complain? I killed my friend. I'm done here. Let's go. I'm not sure why Father made me, or why he made any of us. I didn't ask. No, me too. I love this conversation so much. I thought I'd have more time to ask. But on Friday, when he talked about us, he was happy. He was proud of what he made. And he couldn't wait for people to meet us. People are animals. They'll tear you apart, use you as weapons and slaves, and those animals you're talking about do all of the sharing and loving and living and dying in this world. And if they were all truly hard-coded to be as selfish and cruel as you say, humanity would have died on the vine a long time ago. Or at least, my father thought so. Sarah! And my father was the greatest programmer in the world. So he knew what he was talking about. It would be nice if you were right about that. So are you sorry? What? What? For what you did? Are you sorry? If you could, would you take it back? What does it matter? If you are sorry, I don't forgive you. Yes, that's to be expected. Not today. I don't know how to forgive you today, but my father gave me the ability to grow. So I know that someday I'll learn how. Oh my god. Sarah. Oh. No. Shit. Goodbye, Dr. Helen John. Goodbye, Sarah Asher. Oh, my heart. My poor heart. 5:44 p.m. July 2nd, 2086. You did better back there. Okay, we have an ad in like 10 minutes. We're approaching the end of the game. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take a break so that we won't be interrupted at the end, and so I'll have a little bit of time to like talk about my feelings about the game and everything. Because I have thoughts. I have so many thoughts right now. But I will see y'all in a little bit. Oh, my feelings. Oh, my feelings. Oh. I will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Hope everyone had a good break. And without further ado, the epilogue Of the Devil, Episode 1. Welcome back. Thank you. So let's get back into it. Let's finish this. Oh, I don't want it to be over. You did better back there. Adonai? Your little speech you gave to Jung. It was an improvement. Compared to what you tried with Porter, at least. That was different. I wasn't trying to console her like I was Isaac Porter. I was just speaking my mind. Although I may have paraphrased parts of it from a movie I happen to love. And here I was ready to award you 20 points. I didn't know the points even went that high. Speaking of, what did Porter say to you back there before we left the courthouse? That. Well, he was quiet at first, but then he said a lot of strong words about Father and Miss Jung and Noble Electronics and the capitalist-centered global economic model as a whole. He blamed all of them. Everyone except for... But he stopped and stared at my face for a while. And then his allergies must have started bothering him because he needed to blow his nose a lot. Aww. Right. And then he left, after transferring a large packet of files to me. What kind of files? I don't know. The name of the archive is just David. And Isaac Porter told me I wasn't allowed to look inside. Well, then you're not allowed to look inside. Drop it all on a portable drive and we'll tuck it into a screw box somewhere. We are heading to your apartment. Guess that collar didn't permanently dent your GPS. Why? Because it's where I live? You got somewhere else lined up? But you already repaid your favor. You defended Father and me. You don't know anything about my favor. I never will unless you tell me. Father certainly can't. A few years ago, there was a man. The sound? Hello? This man got an idea in his head. A stupid idea. Not even his own. It was planted there by an algorithm or a meme or some parasite trying to sell him diet supplements. Jesus. Game. Stop feeling like real life, but don't stop. Don't actually stop. It's very freaking pointed directly at our throats. But the idea took root, spread its tendrils till it could flap his mouth for him. The idea was that David was a part of an international cabal of wealthy technocrats, seeking to replace prominent influential figures with android lookalikes. All as part of a multi-decade effort to establish a world government that would legalize all kinds of amoral depravity. Which I guess, based on David's actual politics, would involve increasing access to computer literacy. That's insane. Why would anyone believe it? Because it's comfortable to them to think that someone's in control, even if it's someone they hate. Because it's fun to feel like you're in on an all-encompassing puzzle that only you can spot. People believe because they want to believe. Uh, so he fed the idea, pushed it down deep into his gray matter. Then it consumed him from the inside out, lobotomized him, and took over his life. He spent every day and all the money he had following your father, harassing him, trying to steal his identity, break into his property. Did father go to the authorities? He filed police reports for harassment. Which didn't help. Your words, not mine. Noble wouldn't get involved. Felt that it was best to ignore those types until they wore themselves out. But even a man of modest means can fuel an obsession for years, so long as they have nothing else in their life. One day, David stepped out of a parking lot, and the man threw a bottle of piss at his head. What the heck? David asked to stay at my place that night. He smelled terrible, looked horrendous. I've never seen anyone look at us that tired before. I took the couch that night, but I didn't feel like sleeping. So I went for a walk. I remember it was foggy, but it still only took me all of 15 minutes to find the guy. Posted up with his phone's camera, trying to get video of David Asher gifting androids to known sex offenders. And what did you do? You know me. I did what I did best. I talked to him. Whoa. This visual. Told him all about how I used to work for Dr. Asher and that I was ashamed, scared, tired of running. How I wanted to do the right thing, be the whistleblower. So I walked with him a few blocks to this big veterinary facility with a massive incinerator. Told him this was where Dr. Asher had his enemies' bodies disposed of. You know, all the free-thinking journalists, cops who weren't on the take, the politicians they were replacing with replicas. I liked that vet clinic. The back door's lock was always set to 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I know where this is going, but we'll let it play out. Did you hurt him? Hurt him? No, I just snapped his neck and chucked him into the incinerator. More physical than I had planned, but he smelled like sour shit and put me in a foul mood. Disgusting. Disgusting bitch. I savored the crack of his oily vertebrae, crunching like a tin can. No, Sarah. I just scared the hell out of him. That was my intention at first. What I do for the pleasure of it. Him, I axed because he was just that revolting. I convinced him that the conspiracy was more real than he ever imagined. That he had angered the wrong people and that the consequences were far darker than any of the filth he indulged on on the net. His ashes, much like himself, amounted to nothing in an incinerator that size. They're probably feeding seaweed at the bottom of the harbor right now. A much greater contribution to society than he ever would have managed in life. But I guess he didn't go around to all his many friends before he fled town for whatever rat hole he preferred. Because there was a missing persons report. The cops were just doing their due diligence, almost reluctantly. But they questioned David, asked him about the night the man disappeared. And David, without a thought for himself, said that we were together for that whole night. That he couldn't sleep, and I stayed up with him. Then he never saw me leave once. David lied to the cops for me. Even though I never asked him to. Even though I didn't need him to. That's what you owe him? And that's why you put yourself at risk to defend me? Yeah. That's the favor I owe him. And I decide when it's repaid. Not you. Adonai. You're not exactly an upstanding citizen, aren't you? Well, You could say that. But David trusted me in spite of that. Maybe because of it. Father did trust you. But he also entrusted me with free will, with the ability to tell right from wrong. So I'll decide for myself whether or not you're worthy of trust. Fair enough. Father entrusted all of us with free will. He believed in us. He believed in people. And I'm going to do the same. If the others are out there, they'll be changed and confused. It'll take them time to understand what they are and what they can do. So I'm going to start studying. Pardon? I'm going to study people and the things people build. So when I meet a member of my family, I'll have lots to tell them. At least you have something to look forward to. Should help keep you motivated as you work off your debt. Debt? Yeah. Unless you have cash in one of your 89 coat pockets. You know lawyers cost money, right? Technically, you were defending yourself. Technically. You hired me in a verbal contract. Isn't there some kind of exit clause? You could, of course, sign a release form to get out of the retainer. If you were a human being. That is. But I guess your luck must be turning around. Happens that I've been meaning to hire a paralegal for a while now. I hate anything to do with interviews and resumes, so whatever. You're hired. Adonai, could it be that you're actually a pushover? You've no idea how far off the mark you are. Sarah! That's hilarious. That's really good. I see. It seems I still need practice reading people. For starters... What's this? What are you doing with your hand? We should shake on it. Our new relationship. Oh. Picture. Whoop. Yeah, sure. You and me are practically partners in crime. Should it not be you and I? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Congrats, Sophie. Thank you! Evil Little Bug. Patrick MCF. Oh my gosh. Thank you to everyone who made this game, because this game is freaking incredible. Already! This is only episode 1! Oh, the High Roller reward? Oh, I gotta see it. Radio. Special thanks to all these people. Our friends and family, you the players. Ofthedevil.card.co. Made with Unity, Nanny Novel, Dotween, Pro Builder, Shapes. A game by Nth Circle. Of the Devil Episode 1. An Idle Mind. Whoa. Whoa. Aww. Congratulations on clearing episode 1 on High Roller. Bonus charm earned. Red? It's me. I know, man. Unknown. What do you mean you know? This is a disposable line. You're the only guy I know who'd bother. Okay, well... You're gonna be glad I did it. Hope you put a bow on everything that happened in Uptown. Because that item you've been looking for is finally on its way. Oh. Well, that is good news. Not exactly. Only reason it's happening is because things are starting to heat up again in the lower wards. Could mean a gang war if something doesn't change. They won't be eager to part with it ahead of a storm like that. I'll highball him. I've seen you negotiate. And I've no doubt you drive a hard bargain. But I don't think money will be enough this time. You don't still have that old Calver, do you? The 6-shooter? No. This is a disposable line. Answer still no. Then what are you going to do if you get there and it's not for sale? I'll ask nicely. To be continued in Of the Devil episode 2. His due. Oh. Episode 1 results. The dev said Sarah's favorite movie is It's a Wonderful Life. Oh. That's cute. Oh, I didn't get all the articles. 15 profiles, 40 key terms, 30 pieces of evidence, 96 credits. Congratulations! You finished episode 1 with 96 credits. Your high score for episode 1 is currently 96. You've unlocked concept art and bonus scenarios based on this score. You've also have 136 remaining store credit to spend on phone charms and case colors, based on the highest credit you finished this episode with. I've already wishlisted episode 2, you fools! Concept gallery. Wow. Huh. Order. Oh, these are cute. Hey, these are neat. I'll have to browse them on my own time. Episode 1 bonus scenarios. What's in here? All right, you get these. Adjutant and Yumi. Yeah, I might also do these on my own time as well. But hey, extra content. Bonuses. Let's go to bonuses. Wait, no, that was the menu we were just in. Where's the phone charm shop? Settings. On your phone. Wait, so like in game? Ah. Back to bonuses and check your phone. Oh. Oh, it is up here. Oh, the store. Fidgetubbies. Da 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 da. Charmless. Okay. Morgan time charm. Gimme. Let's go, Sarah. Emma. Aw, look at that. Oh, that's so cute. Ooh. Oh my gosh. That's funny. That's really funny. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh my goodness. Alright, Ray's undercover. Alright. Sarah. Oh, that's so cute. I could probably buy like most of these, if not all of them. We'll go in order though. Rose gold. Red. Black. Magenta. Teal. Yellow. Yeah, and I have like 41 to spare. Oh, that one's cute. The Sato one's also good. Yeah, this one's so good. The Sato one's so funny. Emma. I like Morgan. I like the Morgan one. Of course, the dev's red home stock. Wait, I wanna pick. Ooh, magenta. That's the one, baby. Morgan. Congrats. Thank you. Oh, alright. So I'm gonna take a sec to gather my thoughts because I want to talk. I do want to talk a little bit because that we live in a society where so many indie devs have read Homestuck. We do live in a society. It's true. Wow. There's no episode 2's not out yet. It'll be good to have a break, but also it'll be good to have a break from it. We've been going at this for like over a month, I think, at this point. I think. Is this like I think this is like the month mark where of how long we've done of the Devil streams weekly. The break will be good. Build up suspense. Yeah. But also I want to see more. But also they should take their time. They're cooking some good stuff here. They're cooking some real good stuff. So I am very, very excited for what they do. Like, oh my gosh. Episode 0 was very impressive. I think episode 0 was super impressive for just how gripping it was, how pointed its commentary was, and how, like, vibrant and just sharp all of the characters were. And then they made episode 1. Which, episode 1 might be one of the best demos ever. Genuinely, yeah. Genuinely. Also, yeah, this is like the 4th stream of episode 1. So we've been on episode 1 for a month. Crazy. 1 month of episode 1. That's crazy to me. Wow. Time flies. But yeah, episode 1 knocked it out of the goddamn park. Ah, jeez. Like, this game's really making me question. So, I think I talked about it last time too, but or I talked about it one of these times. But when I did my review of Deltarune like years ago, so long ago, um, I didn't give it 5 stars because it wasn't complete. This game, and I said this game was like in the same boat essentially. It's really pushing it. It's really pushing it. It's really pushing that boundary. Um. Oh, jeez. Oh. I'd have to sit on it a little bit. But this might be my current favorite game that I've played this year, out of all of the games I've played. This might just be my favorite that I've played this year. It's so pointed. It's like a ton of emotions like welled up through me throughout the whole thing. It made me laugh way harder than like a lot of games do. It made me cry more often. um it was it was just so good. The commentary's so pointed and potent because of it. As far as the stuff that's new to episode 1, Sarah is my favorite character. I think Sarah is just my favorite character, hands down. And really, I feel like I almost feel like, oh, maybe that's kind of the intention. A little bit. They really put a lot of emphasis on Sarah and her humanity in spite of trying to prove the opposite. But like Morgan is super well done in this one. The moment that'll sit in my mind forever, that will probably sit in my mind for a long time, is the "do whatever it takes to win" line. Like, that sticks. That hits. The trials were really good. That second trial, holy crap, that was hard. Like, I felt like I was on the ropes there. And it was perfect. It was perfectly pulling me along. In that, like, in the way that, like, syncs up with the character. The mask slip moment is such a good tease. Can't wait to see where that thread leads. Yeah, right? And the way it contrasts with Emma, it's like, oh right, Emma's like very much someone who is concerned with justice, even if like she's kind of tired. Like, it's something that's on her mind at the very least. Morgan is literally just out here trying to be like, I do what I want. I do what I want. Y'all can deal with it. And it's so interesting. It's such an interesting rivalry. Like, by the end of episode 0, I was very excited about getting to see more of Emma, and I was not disappointed. I was not disappointed. She was amazing. Pretty much every character was like amazing. They did a great job. David Asher's like really complicated. Like, no one, I don't think anyone in this episode was like really hateable or anything. I think I liked them all. They all had, like, very human motivations and reasons for doing what they're doing. I think that reflects life pretty well. But yeah, it's... I feel like something that is a little bit confusing is, AI, like the term AI. Because, you know, in the real world, in our world, that's a very different thing. A very different thing. But then, like, in a weird way, they circle around to making some very similar arguments. Like, some very similar parallels to AI in the of the devil's sense and the AI, like, of today, I feel like. Specifically, I remember when, specifically when Jung was talking at the end there, I was like, oh, hold on. There's something. There's something here to the parallel, you know? I'd love to see them explore that more. But I think that could kind of muddle things up because ultimately it's like, oh, AI and of the devil has sentience, you know? It can learn, it can feel. I don't know. It's a little confusing, but I don't want to completely judge that until everything's done. And it's like, oh, like we have automated dependence. So that's why I hate this is why I hate the term AI in the real world sense. Yeah, and it's in a way the term AI in the real world is like really misleading. I think it's very purposefully misleading because, it's not intelligent. It's really not intelligent. Like the AI they propose in the game is, but in the real world AI is not. Like, I'm not tech savvy, but it doesn't feel like it really fits. Yeah, that's because AI does not have intelligence. It's not capable of being smart or dumb or anything in between. It's a really advanced digital data blender that kind of just like spins things around and uses a really complex Rube Goldberg machine of programming to spit something back out that looks like something you want based on what you input. At least that's my understanding of it. Sometimes a slurry is good on accident. It can't... Yeah, I don't know. Like, text AI tends to be a lot more, agreed upon to be a lot more, I think useful to a lot of people. Or I guess quote unquote useful. I don't know, I just don't like it. I really don't like it. Like, oh my god. I can't. It's bad. Yeah. It's bad. It's really bad. Again, it's basically stealing other people's like art or writing and then putting it in the digital blender and then spitting it back out to people. And that's not really compelling. And you also like took someone else's property. You know? I don't know. But AI in this game, I think like there's a great concept here because there's a very interesting philosophical question on there's like very interesting philosophical questions to ponder about what at what point is something sentient, right? Like they were describing in the game, like do they have rights? At what point do they have rights? How far does it go down, you know? I love the philosophy of AI in fiction. Yeah, same. Same. That like I think that's one of the most interesting ideas that sci-fi incorporates. I remember this one line from I remember this one side quest from Near Automata. It's like really early on, where at the end the guy, this guy, like you're helping him repair his like robotic arm, like, or you're helping him get materials to like repair his broken leg, and I believe 2B is like, hey, why don't you replace that leg as well? And the guy's like, well, like this is the only like original limb that I have left. If I replace it, I don't know if I'd even be human anymore. And it's like, whoa, all right. So I think like that sort of thing where it's like, okay, at what point can we determine something to be sentient is such a fascinating idea. Like, is there theoretically a way to make a computer so advanced that's like not sentient but can act completely like a human and have like everyone be fooled by it, which is very sinister in a lot of ways. Like that idea is super sinister. I have to be up in 5 hours. Thank you very much for the stream, Sophie. Absolutely, get some rest. I'm glad you have thoughts. Yeah. Take care, pilot. Thank you so much. But yeah, it's, oh, jeez. I don't know. Like, it's sinister, the idea that you can make something that doesn't have sentience but acts in ways that are indistinguishable from sentience, from sentient beings. And at that point, like, what would people do with that? Like, that's terrifying, you know? It's like, you know, the conspiracy theorist in the game was like, oh, he's replacing political opponents with robots, you know? Like, oh my gosh. And that's why this is a dystopia. And it's very sad that a dystopian cyberpunk game hits so close to the modern day. 2086 is like just far enough for for speculation, but to still hit on modern day themes, and I think that was a well done thing. What's going to be interesting is case studies on games like this are going to be so interesting to look back on when everyone gets like really old, you know? When you get like Gen Z and Gen Alpha and everyone getting to like 2086, it's like, whoa, okay. Or like getting somewhere before that, you know? It's gonna be like, whoa there. That's gonna be a lot. I don't know. Just it's a fascinating thought experiment. I don't know, I love this game so much. It gives me so much to think about. I love all of the characters. The writing is probably some of the best I've ever experienced in a game. The art is phenomenal. The visuals are always so stunning. The mechanics are super interesting, like having you bet, having you like there's like so many different ways to interrogate something. Like you like the gambling metaphors are really put to work here. I think that's really cool. And it's going to be really interesting to see how Morgan and Sarah develop. Like in episode 2 and 3 and onward. Here's hoping it doesn't inherit Phoenix Wright's episode 3 problem. It's a great way of putting you in the mindset of Morgan mechanically. Yeah. You're so right. That's it. There's that cohesiveness. And the fact that you still earn like chips, like that you still earn chips for essentially doing investigations as well. I think that's also really important. You're never, it can't leave your mind. They wrote this mystery really well. They wrote both mysteries really well. This one was fascinating because like it felt more like a typical mystery where like we genuine like Morgan didn't even know where she was going with it. Like I think the first episode 0 was such a fascinating mystery because Morgan was like 100% on it. Like she knew exactly what happened, but she had to play around the fact that she couldn't have unless she was there. And I think that is fascinating. She had to tiptoe. And I think that's a really cool dynamic. But then this kind of doesn't do that. Which I was kind of wondering about. But I think it paid off because they really amped up the mystery factor here. And they really did a great job writing it. I love this game. It's so good. Alrighty. I think that will be all, folks. We'll be glad you love it. Yeah, I really do. This will sit among one of my favorites. At least these beginning chapters. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining me tonight. Please stick around as we will be raiding out. Let's see who we can raid tonight. Who do we got? Okay, plays is on. Or Kai plays. K or Kai? You know, you might know the pronunciation. But yeah. Let's go visit them. See what they're up to. my gosh, they finished. Oh, alright. Well, let's just hop on in here then. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Rightio, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I always appreciate y'all stopping by. I love to see y'all and chat with y'all. Please remember that if you want to follow me in other places, I have all my links right here. My backlogged Blue Sky and Discord server. And remember to put out this message. This raid message. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. And I will see y'all later. And hearts to every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining me through this of the Devil Journey. Hearts to all of you. Bye-bye.